Hello, and thanks for having me. I don't think this is a surprise coming out of the blue. Really, we have to think back to 2005 and the original unification of Shell Transport and Trading and Royal Dutch. And we've been waiting for a collapse of the share lines ever since. And particularly the dividend withholding tax in the Netherlands has made this a bit more complicated and rather drawn out. So in a way, we've known about the desire to simplify and collapse those share lines for a while. We'll see whether this time the political environment is such that it goes through. But in my view, it shouldn't surprise anyone that they're having another go. And this is, in my view, not the first time that they've tried.
So to what extent do you think that the move was catalyzed by the emergence of Third Point on the shareholder register, or was that sort of just the last straw that broke the camel's back and what ultimately put them over the edge, but they were headed here anyway?
I think this has been in the works for far longer than the emergence of Third Point on the scene, but I do think the quest at the heart of Third Point's demands is a very fair one, and frankly, not just for Royal Dutch Shell, but also for the entire integrated big oil business model that effectively is in an identity crisis. You know, on the one hand, we're harvesting very high cash flow from legacy oil and gas assets, while at the same time recycling those cash flows into low carbon growth activities. And I think the question, is that equity story well understood by the market, has to be asked a lot more forcefully. Whether that will lead to more share buybacks, and a clean breakup as Third Point is demanding, we shall see. But in my view, you're right to say that a collapsed share price structure will allow Shell to be more flexible, not just in accelerating its share buyback program, but also in at least contemplating corporate activity that with two share lines, as indeed we saw 5 years ago with a rather complex BG acquisition, would be a lot more cumbersome to implement. So in my view, this is one of many steps along the way of redefining what the equity story is of both Shell, as well as, I think, from a wider perspective, the integrated oil business model.